I did an experiment a couple days ago where I take voltage and I make it walk on water. Now, I'm going to take right here this DC flyback connection to this ZVS. I have a simple switch on the negative. There's my power supply. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to make the voltage walk on water right here in this clear water. Then I'm going to take this sand and water mixture here. I'm going to see if it lights up there and walks on water as well. Then if it does, we're going to take this big tray right here, full of sand on the bottom, water right there on the top. It's got a brown color to it and a bunch of foam that came from my hose because they like to put fluoride in our water. So now we'll just set up this simple experiment. On the bottom here is our negative, and that's what we're going to be holding. Well, not with our hands anyway. And then there's our positive. That's what's going to go into the water. Now, again, this is hot voltage, one hand rule at all times. Do not play with this if you do not know what you're doing. We just placed our positive into there. We're going to take our pliers here with our plastic grip that helps us and protects us. For right now, we are at 16.8 volts. Let's get the camera in position here. Oh, well, we should turn it on probably. Let's turn it up a little bit. Absolutely does not like the water. But watch this effect as we bring it close to it. Watch the water. We can move the water without it doing anything else. That's pretty cool. So, light it up. This is a success. You can see it can't find the positive down there. So, let's turn it off and we'll reset to the next one. By the way, this switch right here to the negative, absolutely genius, Sean. Sean Calderon showed me that, and it's totally awesome. Now, make sure every time you use hot voltage that you bring the positive back over the negative and clap them so that it releases the charge, or else touching this next one would suck. So we're all off there. Going to take this one out, put this one in. Now again, never do this when it's live. Simply pushing it down in there. Make sure we're in there pretty good. Now, take the time to dry your hands off, because you don't want any water or anything conductive around hot voltage. Now, we're set to start the experiment again. Got our trusty pliers here. That right there is at 10 volts. We see we get a little bit of charge. Let's just turn it up a bit. Well, we're firing voltage now. Look at how white that is with all those amps in there. Ooh, it likes to burn things. Let's see. It's going right around that glass, by the way. It doesn't like the glass at all. Not like that. Once in a while it'll lock, but goes right over top of it. Let's see if we can't get the water to move. There it is right there. It's moving just a little bit. It's a little harder because there's so much material in there from the sand. So let's go ahead and turn this off. Now, if you're working on melamine or anything like that, make sure you put this stuff on a cardboard box. The reason why is you get static electricity through your melamine on your table, and it'll actually give you a shock just like it's static electricity. And again, that's no fun. Make sure you turn your switch off before you touch anything over here, because that's also no fun. Let's go ahead and reset our experiment for the bigger one now. Simply move this out of the way. Water's still cold. Pretty interesting. So let's take a look real quick at what was burning. It's just the shielding on the wire here. Not really a big deal. So we'll reset here. Make sure there's no power in there or nothing. Take off some of that shielding on the wire, clean that up a little bit. And yeah, it's getting black. Okay, here we go. This is going to be fun. Let me raise this a bit. You put this right here in the center. Again, make sure you take your time to dry your hands. You do not want anything wet when you're doing this. This is hot voltage. It will completely shock the living daylights out of you. Again, one hand rule. Always one hand behind your back while you're doing this with high voltage. All right, with that said, we're about ready to start. Here we go. We are on right now. We are simply at 10.9 volts. Should put out a real tiny spark. There it is. There's a little spark, a little baby spark. What I like about this in here is you can start to see things moving. Now, let's crank it up a little bit and let's have some fun. We are now at 24 volts. Oh yeah, we got some power in there now. Let's see about the wind aspect of it. We can move the little bubbles around. Right before he ignites, you start to see at the very end there, you'll start to see the plasma right there. And it's moving everything. Pretty neat effect. Now, will this thing spark over everywhere? It should. That's just beautiful. Okay. Let's see if we can see that wind a little better. Definitely moving it. Let's turn it down just a hair. Maybe it's arcing over too fast. It moves it. It doesn't give you quite a neat effect to it. Let's turn this off real quick, and then I'm going to turn off the lights and have a little fun. Alright. We are completely off. I'm going to turn off the lights right now. Just have a backlight on. Here we go. Again, make sure your hands are dry and make sure they're away from everything. Safety precautions first. This is hot voltage. We're now on at 23 volts. Let's take a good look. God, that's beautiful. It doesn't really matter where you go in this. It's going to light up everywhere. Should tell you something about voltage. This is why you don't play with water and voltage. It's not penetrating the surface, but it is excited everywhere, which means any touch to this would be completely harmful to you. That sand is adding amps to it. You can see it. Making the electricity nice and thick. God, that's gorgeous. The more purple you have in high voltage, by the way, the less amps there is. The more white, the more amps there is. It's a play in light and voltage. Set that down, we'll turn that off. 23.9 volts is what we were at during that whole experiment. We'll turn that off. Guys, it's been an awesome experiment.